Anna had always been a night owl, so when she got the job at the old hospital's reception desk, it seemed like a perfect fit. The hospital had been around since the early 1900s and was known for its Gothic architecture and eerie atmosphere. Despite its antiquated look, it was still fully operational and surprisingly busy, even at night.
It was Anna's third week on the job, and she was starting to feel more comfortable with the routine. The quiet hum of the fluorescent lights, the occasional beep of the monitors, and the soft murmur of night staff were becoming familiar sounds. But tonight felt different. The air was thick with an uneasy silence, and the usual background noise seemed distant and muted. At 2 a.m., a storm rolled in, and the hospital lights flickered. Anna glanced out the window and saw the trees outside thrashing violently in the wind. She tried to shake off the growing sense of dread and focused on her paperwork. A loud crash echoed through the hallway, making Anna jump. She stood up and peeked down the corridor, but saw nothing out of the ordinary. She was about to sit back down when the phone on her desk rang. She answered it, her voice shaky. "Hello, this is the reception desk. How can I help you?" There was no response, only the sound of heavy breathing on the other end. Anna felt a chill run down her spine. "Hello? Is anyone there?" she repeated. Still no answer. She hung up, trying to dismiss it as a prank call, but the uneasy feeling lingered. Minutes later, the lights flickered again, and the phone rang once more. This time, the voice on the other end was faint and raspy. "Help me," it whispered. "Who is this?" "Where are you?" Anna asked, her heart pounding. "Help me," the voice repeated, followed by a low, sinister laugh. Then the line went dead. Anna's hands were trembling as she put the phone down. She decided to check the hospital's security cameras, hoping to find some explanation for the disturbing calls. She switched on the monitor and scanned through the various feeds. Most showed empty hallways and dark rooms, but then she saw something that made her blood run cold. In one of the hallways, a figure was standing perfectly still. It was a woman in a white hospital gown, her hair hanging limply over her face. Anna squinted at the screen, trying to make out more details, but the image was grainy and unclear. She switched to the next camera feed, and the woman was there too, closer this time. Anna's heart raced as she flipped through the feeds, each one showing the woman getting closer and closer to the reception desk. Anna jumped up from her chair and backed away from the desk, her eyes darting to the hallway entrance. The lights flickered again, and she heard the sound of footsteps echoing through the empty corridor. Desperate, she grabbed her phone and dialed the security office, but the line was dead. Panic set in as she realized she was completely alone. She heard the footsteps getting closer, and the hair on the back of her neck stood up. The woman in the gown appeared at the end of the hallway, her face still obscured by her hair. Anna's breath caught in her throat as she watched the figure slowly make its way toward her. The closer the woman got, the more Anna could see of her. The pale, almost translucent skin, the sunken eyes, and the dark bruises around her neck. "Help me," the woman whispered, her voice echoing eerily through the hallway. Anna stumbled back, knocking over a stack of papers. She turned and ran down a side corridor, her footsteps echoing loudly. She could hear the woman's voice getting louder, more insistent. "Help me, help me." Anna burst into the staff lounge and slammed the door shut behind her. She fumbled for the lock, her hands shaking uncontrollably. She pressed her ear to the door, listening. The hallway was silent again, but the silence was far more terrifying than the noise. Suddenly, the lights in the lounge went out, plunging the room into darkness. Anna's breath came in short, ragged gasps. She felt her way along the wall, trying to find the emergency flashlight she knew was stored there. A soft whisper came from behind her. "Help me!" Anna spun around, the flashlight clattering to the floor. In the dim glow of the emergency exit sign, she saw the woman standing in the corner of the room, her eyes now visible and filled with a deep, tormented sorrow. "Who are you?" Anna cried, backing away. The woman stepped forward, her movements slow and deliberate. "Help me!" she repeated, her voice a haunting wail. Anna's back hit the wall, and she realized there was nowhere left to run. The woman reached out a pale, cold hand, and Anna felt a wave of overwhelming sadness wash over her. As the woman touched her, Anna's vision blurred, and she was consumed by darkness. When the morning staff arrived, they found Anna unconscious on the floor of the lounge, a look of terror etched on her face. They revived her and called for help, but Anna couldn't speak. She could only stare into the distance, her mind trapped in the memory of the woman's ghostly presence. From that night on, Anna was never the same. She left the hospital and moved far away, but the woman's voice haunted her dreams, always whispering, "Help me." Years later, the hospital was closed down and abandoned, but the stories of the ghostly woman in the white gown continued to circulate among the townspeople. They said she was the spirit of a patient who had died under mysterious circumstances, her soul forever trapped within the hospital's walls, seeking help that would never come. And Anna, wherever she went, could never escape the feeling that the woman was still with her, waiting in the shadows, whispering in the darkness, "Help me."